welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk, joined now by the Washington Post's Jake Russell. Jake, it's been a while. Good to see you, my friend.
It has. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being on again.
And today was a special day, the first full team workout of the Washington Nationals in sunny West Palm Beach, Florida. It's good that the boys are back. What do you kind of think of the makeup of this team? I know they have some new faces. They added some new pieces. What do you think about this club?
I think one thing you can guarantee every offseason is that Mike Rizzo is not just going to sit on his hands and just stand pat. He's going to do something, tinker with his roster, and address any deficiencies on his team and address them in the most fiscally responsible way possible, too. And they have, I believe, $17 million between what their payroll is right now and the luxury tax threshold. So that gives them enough wiggle room to make a move at the trading deadline during the season if they need to. Well, right now, I think they've done a pretty good job at, addressing certain needs and getting players under control and at a relatively young age and just addressing needs across the board. I think they did a solid job of doing that this offseason to keep them in contention for the National League East this year.
Which new face excites you the most?
Good question. I think off the top of my head, I'm interested to see how Josh Bell, how his play translates to DC. He didn't have his best season back in 2020, but he's still young. And there's always something to be said for moving on from a downtrodden franchise to a team that's in contention every year. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that lifts his spirits this year and also raises his play at the plate and at first base. I'm very curious to see what he does this year.
Lineup protection for Juan Soto. Kyle Schwarber. Do you feel more comfortable than you did last year with the protection around Soto?
That remains to be seen. I'm a little skeptical about Schwarber, but I've been wrong in the past, and I'll probably be wrong again in the future. So that way, if he actually produces, I'll be wrong. So everybody will be happy, and they'll just laugh in my face that I was wrong about being skeptical. But I think it's a solid piece, I think. And with his familiarity with Davey Martinez, that's going to help him acclimate to DC quite a bit. I'm very curious to see what he does as well.
What about the rotation? Question mark with the number 5 starter, Joe Ross, Fetty, Austin Voth. But then you have John Lester coming in for Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez is gone. In comes Lester in that 4 spot. Rotation thoughts?
Yeah, it's almost like the Washington Cubs, Lester and Schwarber and all these familiar faces.
Yeah.
That's a solid piece. If he can get up to form from a few years ago, that's a very, very solid 4th starter. 5th starter, obviously, like you said, remains a big question mark. I'm a little skeptical about the 5th starter, but as long as the top 4 stay healthy, they're going to be in a lot of games this year and potentially compete for the division title like they do every year.
I mean, you look at the rotations in the National League East, it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. This division is going to be top to bottom. Even the Marlins, they're going to be tough because the Marlins made the playoffs and won a series last year against the Cubs. It's going to be – there's no easy route to winning the NL East this year, and the Nats are just going to have to – well, Davey Martinez also made it a point to emphasize they're going to have to start out strong this year as opposed to having their backs against the wall and fight through adversity at the beginning of the year. They want to start out with a winning record and keep it, and that's something that Nats fans haven't necessarily seen in a while in terms of, the bridge to a division title. I think that's – Dave Martinez is right. That is super important to get out to a strong start and keep the strong start throughout the whole season.
All right, Jake, I'm sure you saw San Diego roll out the Brinks truck for Mr. Tatis. What does this all mean for Juan Soto and the Nationals?
It doesn't mean he's going to take a bargain like Tatis did. Tatis, if you look at his contract, 14 years, $340 million, and you call it a bargain, a lot of people are just going to look at you cross-eyed and say, are you nuts? A bargain? No, for a young star like that, that's a relatively team-friendly deal considering the circumstances, considering, how much other superstars go for when they sign long-term extensions or beyond 10 years. The other day, I believe Scott Boras, Juan Soto's agent, said that Juan Soto has a unique place in the game, which translates to you're not getting a hometown discount Nationals just because you have him and you spotted him and you brought him onto your team. He's going to be paid what he's worth. So I don't foresee him getting a deal worth that average annual value. He's going to get much more, I believe. And the Nats, if they want, they should probably get started on, hammering out a contract extension. Probably get that done sooner rather than later, working towards the end.
I would just hate to see another young star leave town. Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon. Hopefully Soto and the Nationals can work something out, and Soto's here for a long, long time in Washington. I look at third base, Jake. Carter Kieboom. Looks like he's going to be the guy for 2021. Are you confident in a bounce back?
Cautiously optimistic with him. He's still young. He's still got a lot of potential. Mike Rizzo and Dave Martinez have shown confidence in him and saying, he's here for a reason. He's still young. He doesn't have that much pro experience right now. And he's basically a little bit learning on the fly, with his experience last season. The fact that they didn't trade for Chris Bryant yet and they didn't trade for any other or acquire any other third baseman shows that they have confidence in him. They're going to give him all the chance in the world to earn that job and keep that job and prove his worth on this roster.
Is there a window for this team?
For the World Series?
Yeah, everybody likes to talk about World Series window, like veteran group getting older. Do you believe in that?
I mean, as long as Mike Rizzo is the GM, they have a chance. No matter what the roster circumstances are, he somehow finds a way to build a contender, whether he's given, restrictions with finances. You have to be X amount of dollars below the luxury tax threshold. He somehow finds a way to make smart and crafty deals. Obviously, it's been at the behest, at the detriment of their minor league system, because right now they're ranked at the bottom of all of baseball in terms of their minor league system. But if you look at the quality of their pro roster, their MLB roster, it's right up there, top 5, top 10 easily. I think as long as Mike Rizzo's in charge of handling the roster and making moves, they're always going to have a chance at division and to make some headway in the playoffs every year.
All right, he is Jake Russell of the Washington Post. Jake, as always, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, much more to come right here on Toyota Sports Talk. Stay with us.